Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. It's Doug here. In today's video, we're going to be having a look at the 3 most common singing mistakes that female singers make. Let's get into it. So let's discuss the most common problems so that you can avoid these when training your voice. Now, the first thing is that I want you to get comfortable with singing in your low range. The first mistake that I see is that I see female singers not being able to identify where their lowest comfortable note is. They have trouble singing loud in their low voice, and sometimes they just don't know really where it starts, okay? So we're going to do an exercise together in a minute, and I'm going to help you find your low voice. But first, I'll just tell you why it's important. So imagine if I was going to sing a low comfortable note, for example, or if I go any lower than that, I can do it, but it's not going to be comfortable, right? Oh, it's not comfortable. Okay. If I take that note that I just sang up an octave on a scale, oh, that middle range note, oh, is actually affected by that low note. Okay. So that low note being, oh, if that low note wasn't very good and it was like this, oh, I'm just making it bad on purpose. That middle range note, oh, will actually be affected by my voice's lack of being able to do the low note. So what I see is a lot of female singers practicing songs in the middle of their range, but as soon as the song, goes a little bit lower, or, you change the key, or you just sing a different song in general, it's really hard for them to find a comfortable spot to sing in that lower range. And if you develop the low range, the mid range, as I just said, will actually strengthen and get better because the foundation of your voice will be there. And if you develop the foundation, you'll have more room to be able to keep moving up and up and improving your vocal technique more and more. Okay, so let's get into the exercise, because the first step to developing the low range is actually identifying where your low range starts comfortably. Remember, I want you to do a comfortable low note that you can replicate and basically say that, yep, this is where my low range is starting right now, and this is where I'm going to start singing my scales and where I'm going to start singing songs as my lowest note. So here's the exercise. We're going to be starting on an E4, on an OR sound, and we're going to go down on a 5-tone scale. It's a major scale going down by 5 notes. So I'll do a demonstration. Oh, can you do that for me? Give it a go. You can try it slower. Oh. Now for me, as a man with a male voice, up in this range, it's actually my mid-range, I would say. But I'm guessing for most women watching, it's probably going to be, not a very high note. So if you can get that, what you want to do is take that scale, oh, and get comfortable singing that low note. Oh, and then you can just keep taking it down. Oh, oh. Yep, keep going down. Oh, oh. And you can just keep taking it down. Oh. So I'll leave that to you to pause the video and find whatever note you want to start at, and just go ahead and try and match that. And you might even find that you get much lower than you would expect, and then you'll be able to know where to start from in scales and in songs. All right, cool. Let's move on to the next step. I just want to quickly point out that if you didn't understand what I meant by E4 and going down back to A, all the terminology that I'm using, you can check out a video I made called What is the Meaning of A4, C3, and all of these notes, and I'll put a link to it up here in the video in the card. So let's move on to number 2. Another common problem that I see is that female singers have a hard time distinguishing whether they are singing in falsetto or connected chest voice, especially in their higher range when the vocal break starts to kick in. So for example, a rock band like Paramore, Hayley Williams will be singing into a high range. You can't really say all the time, but a lot of the time in a very heavy connected chest voice belt. Okay, this is just one example. And I see a lot of singers covering her songs and going into falsetto, okay? And not knowing that what they need to be doing is keeping their voice connected in a connected tone. You could call it mixed voice, you could call it a belted chest voice, rather than going to falsetto. Now, I'll show you some examples of this because it can be really hard to explain, just with words. So I'll really show you an example of what I mean right now. So you might also be thinking like, I know it's obvious because I can feel it, but I'm just letting you know that it can be very, very tricky, especially like I just said, in that high range. So if you compare a male's voice, we have a very distinct sound when we go to falsetto. The female voice, not so much. How about I show you a clip of Billie Eilish actually singing? This is off one of the Genius video commentaries because I want an a cappella. And I'll show you how damn close that chest voice can be to falsetto. And you might say, I can hear it, but you'll see some lines where it really becomes quite hard to distinguish. All right, let's play it.
I don't want to be you anymore.
Did you hear how the word be that she's saying? Be you. That be was actually quite loud. That means that it was connected and you can tell it's not falsetto.
I don't want to be you anymore.
Now, after that, she sings be you anymore and she goes very breathy on it. Now, let's just say, for argument's sake, that every single thing that she just sang there was connected. What I mean is she didn't go to falsetto. And let me demonstrate it, even if I sing it in a different key, just to get this point across. I don't wanna be you anymore. Just say I made it like her, where I made the last two words breathy. I don't wanna be you anymore. Now, when you hear her sing it, you might be thinking, oh, she went to falsetto. But did you notice that even though I made it breathy, I was actually connected. Be you. Be you. See, I didn't have a vocal break. Be you. I might be making it quieter and I might be making it more breathy, but I'm not going to falsetto. Be you. I'm not going to falsetto. And what I'm saying is that this exact trouble that you can have hearing whether a singer is in falsetto or not is the same exact issue that I see female singers having when they sing higher into their range and they go to falsetto not knowing that the original song that you're singing is actually in connected chest voice. Okay, so have a listen to Hayley Williams singing The Only Exception by Paramore, a cappella, in the bridge where she goes incredibly loud and stays in a full connected voice. I'm not saying you have to sing in a connected tone all the time. I'm just saying that you need to learn the distinction very well with your ear.
I've got a tight grip on reality, but I can't let go of what's in front of me here. I know you're leaving in the morning when you wake up. Leave me with some kind of proof it's not a dream. Oh.
So in that recording, there was not one instance where she actually went to falsetto. The whole thing was chest voice. Connected chest voice. All right, cool. Now, if you didn't understand any of the terminology, feel free to leave me a comment below and I'll respond to you, okay? So most common vocal problem that I see, number 3, is not being able to belt in the voice and not understanding that the belt can be built, okay? So this actually ties into step 2 where I said you need to have an understanding of whether you're in chest connected or unconnected falsetto. Well, this step is actually answering the how of it. So how do you actually belt? So you need to learn to sing louder. You need to learn to sing with support. And interestingly, even developing the low range, the first problem that I mentioned, is actually going to help you a lot when it comes to getting this belt to work. Now, the reason why it's so important to be able to sing loudly is because you're always going to be stuck without being able to, sing a large repertoire of songs because so many songs use a loud belted sound, especially in the rock genres, R&B, etc. And I would actually say that there's only some forms of music that use a very light tone, and it's just very restrictive. If you want to sing anything other than acoustic, soft songs, you're probably going to definitely need to learn how to do this. So check out my new video. It's called How to Belt, a step-by-step guide. It's not just for male singers or anything like that. It's for male and female singers. Go and check that out because I made that video specifically for anybody who needs to develop the belted sound. Okay, so just to wrap things up here, I want to give you one final tip which kind of ties everything together nicely. And that's, I want you to understand that the female voice is actually quite a bit higher than the male voice. It really is. So if you're trying to sing songs that are by men, originally sung by men, you're probably going to want to actually increase the key of the song by more than you would originally assume. So, get comfortable with not just raising the key of the song by 2 semitones or 2 half steps. Actually try experimenting with raising it, 6 half steps or a whole octave. Go ahead and find the area where your voice really works. Some people call that like tessitura. Find that tone that really works for your voice and stick there, because I see a lot of female singers, especially in the rock sort of styles, singing male songs that are just a little bit too low for their voice to really be able to shine. So that's what I want to leave you with. All right, so I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions at all, definitely leave it down below. Give this video a like, subscribe if you hadn't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.